The Sunday NFL Super Wild Card Weekend pregame show edition of the Propcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MACHINE to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000.
And taking a shot to Brown downfield. He makes the catch, and he gets in for the touchdown. The catch is made by Calvin Ridley. Wilson, good as he throws deep downfield. It's going to be caught by Metcalf.
Welcome, everyone, to the Propcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. NFL Sunday Super Wild Card Weekend games was a lot of fun yesterday, of course. Well, they made it better that my Texans did end up winning, smoking on that Rex Ryan pack, but we'll get into that in momentarily. But yeah, we'll break down the three games on the Sunday card here for the NFL Wild Card game, starting in about an hour and a half between the Broncos and the Bills, and carry us throughout the day. Excuse me, into Sunday night football. But joining me, of course, here to help me break down the player props, touchdown scores for this Sunday card. Got my guy here with me, of course. It's Lante Smith. Lante, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
Not bad, man. Doing pretty good. Hoping we have a better day than yesterday. I think it was okay yesterday, but just wanting to get a little bit more home. So three more. Well, I guess one more game than it was yesterday. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, yesterday wasn't too bad. The Jalen Warren receiving yards really screwed me over out of a lot of money, but I thought the opportunities were there for him. He had four or five receptions. I mean, if you had told me at the beginning of the game that he was going to have four receptions, that he would have gotten over his receiving yard number, but he finished with 19. Najee Harris was the one that got over his receiving prop at 41. But yeah, both home teams win yesterday. Texans take care of business, forcing four interceptions off of Herbert. 32-12 was the final, I believe. And then Ravens take care of business as well, 28-14. We mentioned it. We just felt like it was going to be a big Derrick Henry day. And it was 26 carries, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns. You nailed Isaiah Likely. He had a big game. Well, not big game, but he did get over his receiving yards prop, 53 receiving yards for him in that game. Russell Wilson was the one that we were trying to get to the winner on his complete. Another 20 completion game for him against the Baltimore Ravens there. But yeah, Pittsburgh are going home, and then the Baltimore Ravens will advance to the divisional round here. All right, Lonte, let's not waste any time, man. We got three games to get to here. We'll start off here with the first one, the Buffalo Bills. They are hosting the Denver Broncos in this game here. Currently, as it stands right now, for the line, the Bills are still, I believe, a 9.5. Oh, it's down to 7.5. Wow, just refreshed the page.
Yeah,
DraftKings
yeah,
has it down to 7.5. Now it's just a good teaser leg if you like the Bills here. Totals at 48.5 here, Lante. Let's get to player props here. What do you like for this game? There's a couple I'm looking at, but I'm trying to get to the window with. But what do you like for sure in this game?
Yeah, it's a couple from me as well. I got a couple that I like and a couple that just haven't got there yet. So I like Bo Nix over 23.5 completions.
All right, so that was the one I was trying to get to the window with.
Yeah, so Buffalo defense, heavily relies on preventing the big plays, the deep shots. So they'll allow him to kind of dink and dunk his way down the field, and then they'll just play kind of red zone roulette from there and like hunker down in the red zone. So I think he can have a good game completion wise, volume wise, I guess so. And I mean, he's over in 3 straight and 8 of 17 on the year. If you look at what he's done on the road, he's over in 5 of 9. A lot of those have been, kind of neutral game scripts. They might have been down, 3 or maybe even 7, or maybe even up, 7 to 10, and he still came through with this. And I think, the line's falling, but I still think that Buffalo is going to be the ultimate right side. So game script is in our favor if he falls down. So I like Bo Nix over 23.5 completions with all that kind of being baked into it. You want me to keep going, or you want to just?
No, good. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so, okay, we're going to go with Amari Cooper over 25.5 receiving yards, not played in nearly 2 weeks, should be ready to go. I think all the reports are saying that he was, being held out for precautionary reasons. So, this is a game why you traded for him. Surtain is likely to be more involved with kind of Shakir and Coleman. Coleman's kind of that big physical receiver downfield. So I'll be interested to see how Surtain kind of plays him. I know Riley Moss is more so in the slot, and Amari Cooper. Well, I mean, in his earlier days, he would work out of the slot some, but mostly he's been kind of on the outside. So I think he can have some opportunities. I mean, 25.5 is a low bar for a receiver of his calendar. I mean, he's over in 4 of 7 that he's played with Buffalo. And if you believe in kind of historic outliers, he averages around 36 for his career against Denver. You know, he played a bunch versus them when they were in the division when he was at Oakland. So those are the two that I pulled the trigger on. I'll let you go, and then I got a couple more that I guess maybe you'll hit on or whatever to see. Like, I just didn't quite get there yet.
Yeah, so my favorite one in this game is going to be Josh Allen rushing yards to go over. Numbers up to 44.5 now. This was at 42.5 earlier in the week. I think we see something similar to what we saw from Lamar Jackson for the Baltimore Ravens, that when it comes down to it, he's just going to utilize his legs. 5 of the 6 games that he's played in his career in Wild Card Weekend, he's had, I believe the number was 55 or more rushing yards. So I think that the pass rush for the Denver Broncos this season has been really good. They led the league in sacks. So I think that if that pressure does get to him, I think that he'll utilize his legs a little bit in this game and have 50 plus rushing yards. So the ones I was debating between was either pass completions for Bo Nix or Bo Nix rushing yards as well. The number's at 27.5 for his rushing yards. I feel like these rookie quarterbacks, I think we're going to see them with Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, that they're going to utilize their legs, but wouldn't be able to talk you off of the completions. That was one I was considering there as well. And then the one more I want to get your opinion on, and then if you want to throw in the ones that you also do like, the receiving yard prop for either Jalen McLaughlin or Javonte Williams. I didn't know which of the two I liked for the receiving yards, because the Buffalo Bills did give up 44 receiving yards to the running back position. I know they didn't give up a lot over the final 6 or 7 weeks there, but those were the ones I was debating. I already pulled the trigger on Josh Allen. I think I'll get there with the Bo Nix completions. And then it's either Bo Nix rushing yards or Javonte Williams or Jalen McLaughlin on their receiving yards.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell with the backfield kind of split that they got going on with 3 backs. So is Estime not playing?
I don't see his props
Me
listed
either. That's
at
what I'm
all.
saying. I didn't know he got injured.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Let me see.
Yeah, I mean, so that makes it kind of a little more clearer with Javonte. I think Javonte is the better pass catching back. Also, I think he's the better pass protector as well. If you want to put in another guy, if they try to blitz a little bit here, so I would go with Javonte kind of over, especially if Estime's out. Estime has been kind of he's been the bulk ball carrier for the past few weeks, so that's kind of interesting if he's not there. I think Javonte's got a little bit more experience than McLaughlin, but it's kind of up in the air. I stayed away kind of from the running backs, but I would, if Estime's out, I would go with Javonte over his receiving yards, because I think he's just a little bit more explosive as far as after the catch. Yeah, so I would go with that. So I'll take the 3 that I like. That I was going to play was James Cook over 12.5 receiving yards.
Okay.
Haven't got there yet, but I think the Bills can be a little bit more creative in their getting their running backs the ball on screens, and even splitting James Cook out in the slot. He plays a little bit more in the slot, and you can get Ray Davis in the backfield. So, I mean, he had been over in quite a few games. I think game script wise, it could go in their favor as well. If they can't run the ball, I think they'll use that as an extension of the run. So I was looking at him over 12.5 receiving yards. I was looking at Marvin Mims under 42.5. Is it 42.5? Yeah, 42.5 receiving yards, simply because of how the defense of Buffalo plays. Marvin Mims is more of a deep threat. I don't know how many deep shots they're going to hit on Buffalo, because that's what their defense is designed to prevent. And Marvin Mims is not kind of the intermediate route runner that can kind of get separation like that. So he's more of a downfield threat. So I'm looking at him under. I also was looking at Bo Nix under 29 yards. Was it 29 rushing yards?
Yeah, the number right now is at 27.5 on DraftKings.
Okay, yeah. I'll probably stay away from it. But the reason, I mean, he's under in 7 of his last 9. That's not
now
counting the last
25.5.
Yeah. I agree with that. I wouldn't play it there, but yeah, he was under 29 in 7 of his last 9. That's not including the last game, which I mean I didn't really count because Kansas City wasn't playing anybody. But I mean, he'll probably use his legs a little, but Buffalo plays a lot of zone. they'll have eyes on him. I'm pretty sure they'll have a spy on him multiple times. So it's gonna be hard for him to kind of take off and run. So I was looking under there, but I can't go 25. I can't go that far. I would go 29, but those are the three other ones that I didn't play that I was looking for.
All right. Yeah. I think the only one I'll probably end up playing is going to be Josh Allen on his rushing yards in this game here. All right. Let's move it along here. Next game on the schedule, we've got the 4:30 Eastern start time. The Green Bay Packers, they are visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles laying 5.5 in this game with a total of 45.5 here. Lante, what do you like for Packers Eagles?
Yeah, honestly, not a lot. I mean, a lot of uncertainty on both sides. To be honest with you, just bit the quarterbacks. I know Jalen clear concussion protocol, but how healthy is he? Jordan Love with I don't know if it's an elbow, a hand. I don't know what's going on with him, but that's kind of shaky as well. So I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts under, 36.5 rushing yards. I mean, after the concussion, I don't think they want to put him in harm's way too much, especially with, design runs. Maybe he takes off a few times and, of course, the kind of the tush push stuff, but I don't think they'll be looking to kind of get him out in space running on design runs. I mean, he rushed for 33 yards in week 1 on 13 carries. So, and that was when everybody was fully healthy. Also, albeit on a neutral field, and a lot of things changed since then. But if you look at what Green Bay's done against the kind of dual threat quarterbacks, so they shut down Caleb Williams 10, Geno 6, Trevor Lawrence 10, Stroud 18, Kyler 14, Anthony Richardson had 37. So, and Caleb had 70 in one of the other matchups. So, 2 quarterbacks really out of all of those that kind of had their way with him. And then if you count Jalen in week 1, then that's still under this number. So I think they'll be ready for it. So I'm going Jalen Hurts under 36.5 rushing yards. I just don't think I think it'll be a heavy Saquon game, kind of what we saw from Lamar last night. I think we'll see Saquon run the ball, a lot of short stuff, maybe to like set up screens, look for some stuff for Devontae Smith, some tight end stuff. I don't think it'll be a lot of him holding the ball or trying to run. So I'm going to go with him under 36.5. And one more that I played, and we'll get to the ones that I just didn't play yet. I like Jaden Reed over 2.5 rushing yards. You can find 1.5. It's like juice, like 130. But he's over 9 of 17. He had 33 versus Philly in week 1. I think he scored a touchdown as well. He's had a rush attempt in 13 of 17, 2+ in 5 of those. So I mean, LaFleur gets creative. I think he's going to try to get him the ball, especially with Watson being their downfield threats kind of out. I think try to utilize Reed in the run game as well, especially if Jacobs doesn't have it going early. So, if he gets the ball once, I think he can get 3 yards. So, I like Jaden Reed over 2.5 rushing yards. Pretty heavy today.
Yeah, I think that they're gonna have to get creative with some of the play calling. I didn't really like much in this game, but like you mentioned, a lot of uncertainty. Jalen Hurts rushing yards all the way up to 41.5 right now, currently over on DraftKings. Saquon rush attempts would be something I would be looking at. His number right now is sitting at 21.5. I think we could see something similar to what we saw, 20.5. Something similar to what we saw with Derrick Henry.
I agree.
In the Ravens and Steelers game.
Definitely.
So I think you'll see a heavy dose of Saquon. And this is right, really, you brought him over here. And again, how much pressure would you really put on Jalen Hurts in this game? So I think a lot of handing off to Saquon Barkley in this game here. I mean, honestly, really didn't like much else at all. If you want to maybe look at a receiving yard prop for AJ Brown, but that was really honestly pretty much it. I didn't really like a lot here for the Eagles and the Packers game. You have anything else for this game?
Yeah, so I was looking at Josh Jacobs over 22 receiving yards. Didn't pull the trigger yet. I mean, I just think if you want to negate that pass rush, kind of get the linebackers flowing, you want to get Josh Jacobs going in space on screens, and then a lot of check down stuff because the secondary of Philadelphia has been playing lights out since probably about like week 6-ish. I think he can have some opportunities there. The thing is, if Green Bay can kind of run the ball, I think they might can have some success, like play action wise, and get things going down the field. and check down with Josh Jacobs. He's been really effective. So I looked at him. I also looked at Devontae Smith over his receiving yards. I think just intermediate stuff. I don't think they want Jalen doing a ton as far as like stretching the field with AJ. Maybe a shot or two here and there, but I think intermediate wise, Devontae Smith should be able to have a pretty decent game. So I might look at his receptions versus yards. But like I said, those two I didn't pull the trigger on. The other two I did though.
I just want to see how tight ends have done against the Packers. I feel like it could be maybe a Dallas Goedert type of game. They gave possibly up 126 to the Dolphins, 54 to the Lions, 20 to the Seahawks, 60 to the Saints, 75 to the Vikings, and only 3 to the Chicago Bears. All right, let's move it along here. I don't want to force anything. Last game of the night, or I should say the Sunday night football game. We've got the Washington Commanders. They are in Tampa to take on the Bucks. Bucks currently laying 3 points with a total of 50.5 in this game here. Lante, what are you looking at for Commanders and Bucks?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game as well. So let's start off with I like Baker Mayfield. This has kind of climbed a little bit. I think it opens like 16.5, but I like his rushing yards. Still, it's at 19.5. Anything under 20 and a half, I think that's fine. I mean, Washington struggles defending mobile quarterbacks. If you look at, I'll just go down a list. I mean, Trey Lance last week, 26. I mean, I know the starters were kind of in and out, kind of mixed in. Jalen Hurts had 31 and 39. Daniel Jones, 53 and 32. Caleb Williams, 41. Lamar had 40. And Baker also had 21 in week 1. He's over in 10 of 17 games this year. Washington 16th in run defense DVOA. So I think Baker Mayfield he could have like 25, 30 here. Especially if Washington wants to kind of sit back in the zone or play a little bit more man, which I think with Lattimore, they'll play a little bit more man-to-man with Mike Evans. So, man, Baker, we know what Baker's going to do. When the game's on the line or if they need a big first down, he'll stretch the field with his legs as well. So I like him over 19.5 rushing yards. Did I have another one? I like Zach Ertz over 39.5 receiving yards. I think he'll be in the middle of the field against Tampa. Tampa's got a ton of like secondary issues. I know some of the guys are going to go, but they've had a lot of issues throughout the year. And with some of those guys banged up, the middle of the field, I think will be completely open. So I think Zach Ertz will capitalize on that. And I mean, that's pretty much the safety blanket for Jane Daniels. I think it's kind of more first read. As soon as he gets off, I think you want to get the ball out quick, not a lot of pass rush to get to you. So Zach Ertz over 39.5 receiving yards. And so I didn't pull the trigger on this, but I like Brian Robinson under 44.5 rushing yards because Eckler's back. I think they'll be more involved with the short pass game. Robinson, okay pass catcher, but I think Eckler's more the elite pass catcher there. So I don't know how many opportunities he'll get as far as running the ball. Tampa's defense pretty good. So rush defense pretty good. So I'm going to go under Brian Robinson 44.5 rushing yards.
I like in this game Bucky Irving's rushing yards. The Washington Commanders rush defense has been pretty atrocious to wrap up the season. Trying to pull up the numbers here. So on the season they gave up 137.5 rushing yards per game. That's third most in the entire league. Over the last 3 weeks of the regular season, they gave up 162.3. On the road, they gave up 150.5 rushing yards per game. And you see in the first week of the season, when these two teams matched up, Bucky Irving had 9 for 62. We know now he's getting pretty much bulk of the carries here for this Tampa Bay rushing attack. He's had 15 or more carries for the final 4 weeks of the regular season. 89, 113, 68, 117. So I like over 89.5 for Bucky Irving. Also like his longest rush attempt to go over as well. Trying to find that number. Let's see. 19.5 is the number for his longest rush attempt. But yeah, I do like that. Jaden Daniels rushing yards as well. I think that, he's going to have to utilize his legs here a little bit to, create plays. But I mean, we saw in the first match of the season, 14 carries for, I believe it was 88 yards for Jaden Daniels. And then you mentioned Zach Ertz. I do like that one as well for this game. Seems like all indications are that Marshawn Lattimore will be playing in this game, matched up on Mike Evans. If you look at Mike Evans under in this game, which kind of makes me pivot over to the other wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His name is just slipping my mind right now. Jalen McMillan, sorry, for his receiving yards to go over in this game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. That number is currently sitting at, let's see, 53.5 over on DraftKings. I do like that as well. And if you want to go rushing and receiving for Bucky Irving, couldn't talk you off of that one, but he's going to be involved in the passing game as well, I believe. But I think that he does have a big game on the ground here as well. So Bucky Irving, rushing yards. If you want to tack on the receiving yards, couldn't talk you off of that. Zach Ertz, receptions or yardage, and then Jalen McMillan over on his receiving yards, and also Jaden Daniels rushing yards number this in this game. That number is currently sitting at 50. Sorry. 53.5 is the number for Jaden Daniels in this game for his rushing yard. So I think it's going to be one of those games that's going to be a very high scoring game here, Lante. The first week they met up, it was 37-20 victory in favor of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know why I blanked on that, but yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of yards put up in this game, a lot of offense. So I think this is the game you probably want to look at overs for sure. So those are the ones I was looking at here for the Bucks and the Commanders game. You have anything else you like for the Commanders Bucks here, Lante?
Went off, my bad, man.
No, you're good.
Yeah, what was you saying? I didn't. What was your plays again?
So I have Bucky Irving over rushing yards 88.5.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to tack on the receiving yards as well at 20.5, go rushing and receiving. I like that. Jane Daniels, the rushing yards number is at 53.5. I feel like he's gonna have to utilize his legs a little bit in this game to create offense or negate the pass rush of the Bucks. Jalen McMillan over 53.5 receiving yards, and then I agreed with you about Zach Ertz as well. So those are the four that I liked in this game: Commanders and Bucks.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. I like Bucky's longest rush over.
Yeah,
he's 19.5.
Yeah.
Well, whatever it is, anything under 20, I think it's fine. He'll be able to break, one or two with how bad the rush defense for Washington is. So yeah, agree 100% there.
Yep. Yeah. Anything else for Commanders Bucks?
No, I didn't.
All right, let's put together our touchdown parlay for this game.
Yeah, we didn't get any yesterday, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think we had a couple tight ends in there, but I think All right, so where do you want to start here?
Let's start. Damn, this is actually pretty tough.
This one's a tough one, but I kind of like Jaden Daniels. It's at plus 180. It's either that or Jalen McMillan at plus 165.
Yeah. I like Jaden Reed. I like Jaden Reed to find the end zone. I also like.
Okay, we'll throw him in there. I'll throw Jalen McMillan in
there.
this
is tough, bro. This is tough.
Let's do one for each game. So we got one for the Bucks and Commanders. We've got one for Packers, Eagles.
This is the toughest one.
I mean, I think I know that Josh Allen will find the end zone here with his legs. It's at minus 140. If you want to go first touchdown score at plus 475. Marvin Mims plus 240.
Nah, that's not good enough for him.
I don't want to say Bo Nix. Devon Vele plus 4. It's just I don't know who's gonna score for this.
Yeah.
Denver
What about
Broncos team?
What about Shakir?
Shakir plus 235. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to talk you off of that.
Yeah,
Cooper's at plus 310.
Yeah, Shakir, maybe a Kincaid.
Kincaid's at plus 290.
Yeah,
I think I would go Shakir.
Yeah, let's go Shakir then.
All right. So this is the crapshoot of all crapshoot. We'll go Jaden Reed for the Packers plus 225. Jalen McMillan plus 165. as an anytime touchdown scorer, and then we'll go Khalil Shakir plus 235 for the first game of the day for the Bills to finally get in. So that comes out around plus close to 28 to 1, officially plus 27.85 on the touchdown odds there. All right, what else are we looking at here? That's let's do underdog fantasy to wrap it up here, Chris.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Chris Lante. Let me get over to underdog fantasy again. Underdogfantasy.com. Make sure you guys use our promo code NBA Machine. You can use NBA SGPN, of course, as well if you want to. But yeah. All right. Let me get over to the screen. Done so. All right. Your favorite play of the day, Lante, what you like the best? Your best favorite
favorite would be. Damn, that's a good one.
So I'll start. My favorite today. It's either between. I'll let you decide between these two. It's either Josh Allen, rushing yards, 42.5 higher, or it's either Bucky Irving higher.
I like both. So let's go with Bucky because I like Bucky as well.
All right. Bucky.
Yeah, I'll let you choose between the two that I got my favorite, or three, I guess. I like Jaden Reed, rush receiving higher. I like Zach Ertz higher, and Baker Mayfield rush yards higher.
Hi.
I also like Amari Cooper as well. So, but I mean, I was trying to like give stuff out that we didn't give out in the regular handicap.
I like Ertz because I agreed on Ertz. You want to go on
let's
his
go Ertz.
Receiving yards or his receptions?
No, let's go receiving yards.
All right. So we're getting a 37.5. Take that. And then let's throw one more out there. So we've got two from the same game.
If you want to go with, if you want to go Saquon rushes, I like his rushes as well.
His rush attempts.
Yeah, higher.
Yeah, let's go with that. Let me get over there. Rush attempts. Saquon. All right, we'll go higher 20.5.
Yeah.
All right, love it. So we'll go Saquon higher 20.5 rush attempts. We'll go Bucky Irving higher 88.5 rushing yards, and then we'll go Zach Ertz higher 37.5 receiving yards. I'll get you to a 6x entry. So every $10 you do put in, you'll get a return of $60, courtesy of Underdog Fantasy. All right, that's going to pretty much wrap it up here for the Propcast pregame show for the Sunday games. Lance, anything else, man?
That's it, man. That's it.
Hopefully, yeah, it's a fun day of NFL football. It was a pretty good day I should say on Saturday. Made it better that my Texans did get the victory. We got about a couple minutes here, Lante, but you want to give your side and total picks for the three games? What's your best bet?
Out of the three would be, I love Tampa. I think Tampa kind of runs away with it by double digits. But I'm waiting for more of that Denver money to come in because I will be taking in part of that Buffalo. I wasn't going to play Buffalo, but now if we get a 7, 6.5, 7, I think I got to play it there. But Tampa probably my favorite of the bunch. And listen, man, I hope Sean's not listening, but I think Green Bay can win it. I think Green Bay can pull the upset.
I think so too. I think my favorite play is going to be that over in the Commanders and the Bucks game tonight, and then that Bills game. It's at 7.5, but if you want to tease it down to -1.5 in favor of the Bills, I think they take care of business here.
Yeah,
against
pair them with the Rams 8.5.
Yeah, I think Monday night. Or do you have anything for Vikings Rams? We could cover that game, so we won't do a show for it.
I like Kyren Williams. His attempts and rushes over probably my favorite play of the whole weekend. One of my favorite plays of the whole weekend. Blake Corum probably.
He broke his arm or fractured his arm or something, right?
Yeah, so he's going to get a bulk of carries anyway, so I can see him going 25 for like 130, to be honest, because the Vikings rush defense is so bad.
They were doing really good at the beginning of the season, but they faltered down the stretch. So I think they met up earlier this season. I want to say Kyren Williams had 23 for 97 in that game and a touchdown. Here,
Yeah,
let me just
that'll
check.
get him over because I think he's at 88.5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he opened 83 and then it kind of got bid up.
Let's see. Yeah, 23.97 in that
That's a good
game
number
for Card Williams.
Yeah, that's a good number. I like I mean, I've been trying to like catch the falling knife with Cooper Kupp, so I'm staying away. But I if push comes to shove, if we have a good weekend, I'll play some Cooper Kupp stuff. But they blitz a ton. I mean, I know Stafford is elite against the blitz. He's usually looking for Puka, but I think Kupp, big game, slot in the slot. I think he can have some success there as well. So those are the three that I would. On the Viking side, it's hard to kind of figure out what they're going to do, like receiver wise, because I could think Hawkinson can have a decent day on the linebackers for the Rams. Also, Jefferson, I mean, always like could have a big game as well. So I would look at those two more so Hawkinson than anybody else on the Viking side.
All right, yeah. Viking side of it, Jordan Addison, I think, is the pivot. I know Jalen Naylor has started to see some targets his way.
Yep.
I think his longest reception would be something that would entice me. For Jalen,
he scores a lot of touchdowns too. Well, random touchdowns. Yeah.
Jordan Addison's anytime touchdown number has dropped to like plus 130 now, and
that's too low.
Yeah, he used to be like north of 2-1. But as far as
Naylor to score a touchdown,
let's see, Naylor. Where is he? Plus 550.
That's a good number. I was gonna say 5-1. Yeah, that's a good number.
550, 25-1 to be the first touchdown scorer.
That's a good number. I might dabble a little bit on that.
I look at Stafford passing yards as well.
Yep, I agree.
I think it's going to have to be on his shoulders. I know they'll hand the ball off to Card Williams, but if they start trailing in this game or they fall behind, I think I have to throw. So
it could be a shootout.
Like I think low key. I think it could be 241.5 number right now for Matthew Stafford. But those were the companies I was looking at for this for the Monday Night Football game, at least.
Yep.
To wrap up Wild Card Weekend. All right, that is going to do it here for this edition of the pregame show for the Propcast. Make sure you guys tune or head over to the mothership with Sean and Kramer. They'll be firing up their pregame show. They'll take your calls, last minute DGen only bets as well. So again, we're about 58 minutes away from kickoff. So again, hopefully it's a profitable day as far as our prop bets do go for the Sunday games. Make sure you guys follow Lante over on the Twitter machine at XXLanteXX. You can follow me there as well at SportsNerd824. Till then, good luck with your bets, and always remember to let it ride.